So I am Daryl Harry. I'm the CEO of Lobby LLC. I'm also a Bitcoin user and also the first ever presidential candidate in the United States to accept Bitcoin. I was a Libertarian Party presidential candidate and was only accepting alternative currencies for many of the reasons that Representative Hunt mentioned. I don't want to be regulated. Speaking of regulations, FinCEN was mentioned briefly, and FinCEN considers Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to be a currency, and you have to jump through all of these hoops and hurdles that I could not even begin to understand when I tried looking at what their hoops and hurdles were. The IRS, another federal agency, considers cryptocurrency to be a commodity like gold and silver. So you then figure out your capital gain or your capital loss at the end of the year, and you're taxed likewise. So I do find it interesting that two different federal agencies have completely differing decisions and regulations on what Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is. I would like to remind you of the original version of the bill that's actually on the back page of what I handed you. And the original version of HB 356 that was heard in 2015 would have basically prevented the government of New Hampshire from regulating virtual currency and virtual currency users. This most likely was in response to regulations rolled out by the New York Department of Financial Services that require any business in the state of New York that is in any kind of way involved with cryptocurrency to keep records not just of their New York-based customers, but of every customer everywhere around the world. And I'm glad that New Hampshire regulators have not gone that far, and hopefully they never do, because then I do think you would see, the three exchanges that are currently licensed in New Hampshire. You say Coinbase, Circle, and who was the third?
CoinEx.
CoinEx. Interesting that BitPay is not on that list. But I think that if you do wind up going as far as what the New York Department of Financial Services did, you will probably see those three leave New Hampshire because I think a couple of those have left New York. I know there are a lot of Bitcoin companies that will not do business with anyone in New York because of those regulations. And I agree again with Representative Hunt that you should take a hands-off approach. And I realize the purpose of this commission is to recommend to the governor and the legislature what a regulation should be, if there should be one. And I would recommend that you reintroduce HB 356 as originally written and originally introduced in 2015.
Where's in this language do you say we won't regulate it at all?
Right, the language here does not say it will not be regulated, but these are things that were added to the exemptions of what the Department of Banking is able to regulate.
Exempt from licensing. Exempt
Yeah,
licensing.
these things are exempt from.
Licensing.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. Questions?